Welcome to Indiana Basketball Weekly on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. I'm your co-host for Indiana Basketball Weekly, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I want to welcome in one of my other co-hosts, member of the 1981 national champion Indiana Hoosiers, Steve Risley. How you doing, Steve?
Hey, Michael. Doing okay. A little bit better than the Hoosiers fair tonight, but we're fair to middling out here.
All right. And Collin cannot make it tonight because his mom won't let him stay up past 11 o'clock. So, Cole Hanna, the Indiana basketball beat writer for the Grueling Truth, is with us. How you doing, Cole?
Hanging in there. Been better after that game tonight, but we're hanging in there.
Oh, so what are your first thoughts, Steve? I mean, I thought they played harder than what we normally see. They just don't continually play for 40 minutes.
I thought they came out of the box aggressive. I thought they had some good defensive pressure early on. They were aggressively attacking the hole. They were doing everything that we kind of hoped we would see some signs of them doing early on. But then, like you said, they don't sustain it for the duration of the ball game. And it's a longer process than maybe we all thought it was going to be in terms of bringing this team to the culture that Archie Miller wants them to be at. I don't know if they're not buying in or if he's not selling it well enough. I don't know, but I thought we started off good. I mean, I wrote first, more aggressive start by Hoosiers. Seemed to be attacking the things more. Better blockouts. I thought, then we out-rebounded them. What was it, 44 to 29? I don't think Northwestern's a very strong rebounding team, though. They weren't really crashing the boards much at all. We had a lot of red jerseys under there, and I didn't see a lot of blockouts. I didn't see any. What the hell? I thought Northwestern's colors were purple and yellow. Why are they wearing black and gold?
I don't know.
They changed their colors on us?
I guess, but...
Weren't Northwestern always purple and yellow?
Yeah,
purple and white.
I know they were purple.
Purple and white, yeah, purple and white.
Yeah, now tonight they had on black and gold uniforms. Nike just screws with everything, don't they? I swear to God.
Nike ruined the world.
They're just not. And I got a question I'm going to ask after we go through the course of the game. I want to ask both you guys your opinion on, but I'll save it to the end of the game. It's the number one question I wrote down, but it's a all-encompassing question, and we'll save it. But I just think that right now, still not fundamentally sound, still not making progress, it's still not able to sustain anything for a duration of a long period of time. That's all I can say to your question.
All right, Cole, what stood out to you on the stat sheet?
The big one, and it's the second game in a row now, I need to talk about it, but it's the 4 of 21 from three. I mean, this team is going to have to find a way. Their issue right now is teams just packing the paint on them. It's what Nebraska did to them, it's what Purdue did to them, and it's what Northwestern did to them today. And Indiana is not converting open looks right now. I mean, 4 of 21 from three. They were 4 of 20 against Purdue. It's going to be something they're going to have to figure out. I don't really know what they can do about it. Devontae Green being out probably hurt them a little bit in that front. That's one of the few players who can get going from behind the arc for them. And then, another thing is you look at Falzone for Northwestern. That's a guy who had scored 6 total points for them on the year, comes in and drops 21 points on IU tonight. Drops 6 of 7 from behind the arc. And I think that's a frustrating thing to give up, especially when I felt like Indiana just kind of choked off him way too much throughout the game. And when a guy has it going, you can't just leave your man, especially with someone like Falzone, really has it going. But, statistically, I mean, those are really the only two areas that Northwestern, won this game at. I mean, rebounding was a huge advantage to IU.
But what stands out to me, Cole, is we have 13 turnovers, but Northwestern only has 5 turnovers in the game. That signals to me no defensive pressure whatsoever. I mean, we're not pressuring the perimeter. That's why they're hitting 3-pointers, 10 for 24, 41% from the 3-point line, and only making 4 turnovers. We're not putting any pressure on the perimeter at all.
It looked to me, Steve, like we pressured the point guard. We were pushing him out, but our defense on the wings of the perimeter is what kills us.
Atrocious, yeah.
And I will give you this.
I
think Devontae Green being gone from this team is the best thing that can happen, and I hope he never plays again. Because he doesn't care. I don't know what rule he broke. I know what the rumors are. I don't know if those rumors are true. And, I've learned over the last few months to not believe everything you hear. But if there was something there that made him violate a team rule, going to play an away game after a 4-game losing streak, who needs him? I mean, I may be wrong here,
when
Steve,
you're shorthanded,
but I don't really care.
No, you're
I
right.
don't
When
care.
you're shorthanded,
we're not shorthanded.
You're shorthanded anyway.
We're not shorthanded. I mean, come on. Demasi Anderson should get a chance. I mean, he was brought in here because he's a guy that can shoot the three, but he doesn't play. And then, the first thing you'll hear is, well, he doesn't play defense. Well, who the hell does? Do we watch the games? Nobody plays defense, so maybe we could get somebody that can shoot a three at some point. Clifton Moore gets to play a few minutes, grabs a few rebounds, makes some things happen, and then we never see him again. I mean, I don't understand this. So you're not shorthanded if you're giving up a guy that is selfish and doesn't care if he wins or not, which is Devontae Green. I don't care what he did. If he broke team rules enough to be suspended indefinitely, he should never see the floor again. He's old enough to know better. And it gets really sickening. And I see guys diving on the floor tonight. I saw guys busting their butts. I think you had about a 5-minute period there where you had a letdown, you had a guy get hot. But overall, I thought this was a better team tonight without Devontae Green.
Yeah, I think that's
fair
a fair statement. I think Fantasy just does a much better job of running the team, too, just as far as keeping the team under control. Only one turnover for Fantasy tonight, too. I mean, that's a big thing. I know 13 turnovers is, unfortunately for IU, that's a solid number for us this year.
That's an average number.
That's not a bad number. That's a manageable. 13 is a manageable number. In the course of a 40-minute game, 13 turnovers is a manageable number.
But it's not when you shoot 30-something%.
Exactly.
It's a manageable number if you shoot 45 or 46%. But when you're not shooting the ball, turning the ball over, it just limits the possessions. And when you can't shoot the ball, you can't limit your possessions. You need as many as possible because you're only going to score 1 out of every 3 of them.
Well, Mike and Cole, what I don't understand is, again, back to the same thing that happened last game. We have our substitutions, 5 guys come into play. We get 9 shots out of those 5 guys. I mean, I don't understand what the offensive mentality of this basketball team is. I mean, I don't know that it's being coached in practice that other people have to look to shoot the ball. Pfister 0 for 1. Anderson, our 3-point shooter, 0 for 0.
No, Pfister was 1 for 2. He scored for the first time in a month.
Oh, 0 for 1 on the 3-point shot. 1 for 2. Yeah, he finally hit a bucket. Yeah, first time since mid-December he scored a point.
December 22nd.
Forrester,
21st.
Yeah, they mentioned it in the game. A good thing Colin's not here because they mentioned how much they needed Collin Hartman back too. So I'm glad I have to deal with his big head on that one. Forrester, I heard it. I'm thinking, oh God, Colin, just go to sleep. Don't worry about it tonight. Forrester 0 for 0, Moore 0 for 0, Durham 4 for 7 and 1 for 4. Only guy, 7 of the 9 shots, 10 shots if you count Pfister's 1 3-pointer, come from Durham. So I don't understand what the other guys are doing. Why are you putting them in the game?
I do. I understand.
They're not looking to be part of the game.
They're only playing for a couple minutes at the end of the first half, and that's all you see of them. So you really can't get in the rhythm. You really can't play. So right now they're basically playing with 6 guys. I thought Durham played really well tonight. I thought Fantasy played really well. Langford was all right. Morgan played. I mean, he was solid. Justin Smith, if it wasn't for the fact that he couldn't hit the broadside of the barn shooting the ball. And why is Justin Smith shooting 3 3-pointers? I mean, the key to being a good 3-point shooting team is have your 3-point shooters shoot it. So to me, Fantasy, maybe Durham, Langford occasionally, but you can't have Justin Smith firing up 3 threes. I mean, it's like when they asked Bobby Knight in the 1987, I forget which game it was, but they attempted 15 threes. And they were all attempted by Steve Alford. And they asked him if he had a problem with that, and he said no. He said he's our best shooter. That's the guy I want to shoot. I mean, Justin Smith is 3 for 12. Now, I think he rebounded well. He had 12 rebounds. He had a couple assists. overall, I thought he played well. But the shot selection on this team is the thing that's the killer. Because when you don't shoot the ball well as a team, it's usually because you're not moving the ball to positions to get it open. And how many times do we see them get down inside of 10 seconds on the shot clock?
Which means you're not moving the ball around, looking and passing around and cutting and getting open and getting people. You're just kind of stalling, or you're not effectively running an offense, and you're just running up against a time clock. Then you've got to force something. Then you end up taking a less than optimal shot more times than not. Yeah, I agree entirely. But we put 5 guys in double figures tonight. McRoberts doesn't score. I don't know the value of McRoberts really truly on the floor. 1 rebound, 0 for 2, 3 assists, I guess. But really, I mean, if you can't statistically make contributions, you're just diving on the floor for loose balls. That's all nice and good, but you got to be getting rebounds, putting points on the board. You got to be affecting the game statistically as well as you do hustle-wise too. And he's doing it hustle-wise. I get that, but it just doesn't seem to be doing it statistically in any way, shape, or form at all. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the minutes pop up yet.
My question, Steve, is this. What is the harm in seeing if Anderson, Forrester, and Moore can help you or not? Because every time Clifton Moore comes in, it seems like he at least grabs a couple rebounds. He does something, and then we never see him again. At this point, it's not like anybody's untouchable. It's not like they're playing great. I'm sure Morgan and Langford are. But, I mean, outside of that, Anderson was brought here because he was a three-point shooter, from what I remember. And I know he played atrocious defense, and he played atrocious earlier in the season. But he's also a freshman. Why not just put him in and let him jack a couple up and see if maybe he'll have more luck than a team that shoots about 20% from the three-point line?
Well, and couple that with the fact that if you're a defensive specialist coach like Archie Miller professes to be, why aren't we teaching him to play defense? I mean, it's a learned process to play defense.
Really?
It's just being in position.
I don't think it's a learned process.
I
think playing defense is just one thing. It's how bad you want to play defense. We've all played at least a pickup.
Definitely factors into it, Mike.
We've all at least played in a pickup basketball game where you got a guy that doesn't have a clue how to play defense, but he wants to stop Steve Risley, so he's right up in your grill the entire game. You can bounce your forehead off of him, you can elbow him in the face, and he's still going to be there. And that's what this team lacks, because when it comes down to it defensively, you got to talk to each other. But more or less, I just think this is want to. I mean, you got to want to be a great defensive player. And I don't see a lot of that on the defensive side of the ball right now.
Well, also on the Demezi Anderson front, something that stuck out to me from this game is one play in the first half when Demezi, I think he got a pass in the perimeter and had an open look. And it looked like he was almost afraid to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
And then ended up passing it for a turnover. That's one of those situations where I think you need to get him some time in the game, some actual, a 6 or 7 minute stretch, get him in the game, get him some confidence, because it looks like he just has no confidence in the court.
Yeah, and he's
that's
not
like
going to have.
Brought in to shoot them.
They've sat him for a month, Cole. So the kid thinks
exactly,
if I shoot the ball and miss, they're immediately pulling me out. But what he's got to realize is if you don't shoot it, they're going to immediately pull you out anyway.
No, he's not going to get that confidence playing 30 seconds at a time. He's got to get some run of play, and he's got to get some good looks, and he has to have the confidence that he can shoot this, and if I miss it, I'll stay in the game. I'm not going to get pulled if I miss this shot. Because right now he's playing for a minute before he gets pulled out of the game, 1 or 2 minutes. So it's tough to get confidence and feel like, I can go out, I have the freedom to shoot this open shot. If you're getting pulled after 1 or 2 minutes every time.
All right, Steve?
Yeah, and certainly, I'm not anywhere near on the coaching level of Archie Miller, and I don't profess to be. But I know that when I was coaching my AAU teams, I probably spent more time encouraging guys to shoot than I did discouraging them from shooting. I'm like, take the shot, just fire it. If you got to know, you know if you can hit it or not. I mean, you're not ever going to make it if you don't have the confidence that you can shoot it. And I just almost feel like, I don't know what's going on in practice or what's going on where, but there is a conscious mentality on this basketball team that they don't want to take the shot. half the time they cut to the lane, like Cole said, they don't even look for the shot. They just kind of cut and look to find Romeo or find Juwan. And they're not even looking to be an offensive threat at all, and that makes us very easy to guard. And like I said, they're just packing it in on us because we were not a good three-point shooting team to begin with. And now they're just packing it in and making it very difficult on Morgan. And, Smith, 3 for 12. I give him credit for taking 12 shots under there. We did okay on free throws, 76% of the free throw line. It's about team average where it should be probably for an entire team shooting free throws. I don't know. Like I said, when we get done talking, I got a question to ask you guys.
Go ahead and ask it now.
What else do we need to talk about? Question is, okay, here's my question. Let's just discuss this right now. Is Archie Miller developing these players? Have we seen anybody get better over the course of the season? I don't know that I can say that I've seen anybody really improve their game over the course of the season. And you would think by now, halfway through the Big Ten season, the players would start to be developing skills and getting more agile and better and being in position more and being more aggressive with shot selection. Am I the only one that says I don't think I've seen any player really? I think Romeo may have regressed a little bit from where he was earlier.
There's no doubt Romeo's regressed. And when I look at this team, and we talk about it before in other sports too, is this. You're a good coach if your team progressively gets better during the season and are at their best at the end. And the perfect example of that is Indiana beat Marquette 95-77 or something. Just totally manhandled them. They looked confident. Now you fast forward a little over a month later, and Marquette's damn near in the top 10, and Indiana right now would probably be a 12 seed playing in the first four in Dayton, Ohio, which would be all right because they're in the tournament. Plus, it'd really be all right because I would be there because I get credentials to that.
Yeah. So again, the question is, Cole, do you think that we're developing any players, or are you seeing any skill sets that are improving on these players?
Not really. I think Justin Smith, you can make an argument. His past few games have been some of his better games of the year. And to be fair, they've had a lot of injuries to guys. Durham's gone down. Fennessy's gone down. Pretty much half the team has gone down at one point or another. And I'm sure that makes it tough. But, yeah, I agree with you. You would like to see the team get better, and the team is playing their worst stretch of basketball right now they have all year long.
And we're getting go ahead.
Romeo, I think, is playing, probably the worst stretch that he's had all year too. I mean, he was all right today. I thought he seemed almost hesitant at times today, though.
He looks afraid to shoot now too.
There were long stretches of time where it didn't even seem like he touched the ball, really. I mean, he was pretty much invisible for stretches of that game. It's weird because if you go back and look at the Dayton teams Archie Miller's coach, that's kind of a staple of their teams, because they got better as the year went along pretty much every year. And now you fast forward to this team, and it's almost the opposite of that's happening. So, I agree. I think that's a worrying trend right now with this team.
Very much so, because we're really, and again, Mike, you talked about other teams. You look at what Villanova did to Butler tonight. Yeah. Here's Jay Wright, who's an incredible basketball coach. He's got his team. I mean, they manhandled Butler tonight.
Yeah, they lost by 30 to Michigan earlier in the year.
Yeah, and now you got a team that's all of a sudden now they're ranked in the top 20. They're coming on like gangbusters. They went to Hinkle Fieldhouse, which is we both agree it's a difficult place to play in with a rabid sellout crowd, and they pretty much manhandled Butler. And now all of a sudden you got teams like that. You got North Carolina starting to make a little bit of a move now. You got Louisville starting to make a move now with Chris Mack, who's I don't understand how Chris Mack can do what he's doing at Louisville. We can't get it done at Indiana.
Can I give you my thoughts on that real quick?
I know what your thoughts are going to be, and I can't argue with you. I can't argue with
my thoughts, though, and it's a different thing than what I told you before. I know the hard-nosed thing still sticks out, but the other thing about Chris Mack is he went from the Big East to the ACC. In the Big East last year, there was
Brutal
5
conference.
teams in the top 20. I mean, you had to go to Villanova every year for the last 5 years. You had to play Villanova and Jay Wright twice, sometimes 3 times. That competition, And when you combine that to everybody says, well, you can't turn this around in a year. But Louisville last year was in the NIT. They were not very good. Chris Mack had, a few months to recruit a couple guys. He's taking the other guys' players, and he's winning with them. And he is playing in a different way than Rick Pitino plays with his guys. I mean, Rick Pitino's more of a three-point shooting guy. Chris Mack's a get in your face and grind you playing defense. They run and gun. They'll score 80 points, but they're doing it while playing tough, aggressive defense. And I think this also. Chris Mack came from probably the most physical conference in college basketball. He goes to the ACC. That's actually an easier transition for him. But he's used to.
I agree.
At Xavier, their preseason conference is never a cupcake schedule. I mean, every year he's playing 4 or 5 teams that were ranked in the top 25. Mm-hmm. And then a couple of those teams he'll play at the end of the year, all of a sudden you'll see him show up in the tournament. So even when he plays the lower division teams, he was playing the best teams out of those divisions. So overall, I think Chris Mack was more prepared walking into this situation because really Xavier to Louisville was more of a lateral move than anything else. It was just Louisville had a longer tradition.
Yeah, and I don't want to. I'm refused to get on the bandwagon of Archie Miller's not our guy. He's our guy.
Nobody said
just
that. I'm just giving you.
I know. I think there is all other websites, other Twitter pages are starting to say that now.
Yeah, but I think that's what I'm trying to convey.
Renaissance for Tom Crean again, which is idiotic.
What I'm trying to convey is this. I think there is a much bigger learning curve for Archie in this situation.
That's the question I was going to ask you right there. Is Archie Miller in a huge Big Ten learning curve right now too? And he's just trying to learn to coach in the Big Ten because, I think on paper it looks like, we're going to Northwestern. We're going to pick up a road win. We're going to ride our ship a little bit. Then we're going to come home. Then we're going to face a tough Michigan team at home. But if we get a good stance against Northwestern, but if you don't spend an equal amount of time preparing for Northwestern on the road, this is just a perfect storm of you can't take anybody on the road or at home for granted in the Big Ten. It's a brutal place to go play on the road at. It's much like the Big East.
Northwestern's a team we only beat by 2 earlier in the year at home.
Right. Yeah, we only beat them at home. Right. Yeah. So all right, Cole, anything else statistically that jumps out at you? I think we kind of covered it, but what else? You're the stats guy here. You're the one who kind of does our pre-game and post-game analysis here. Anything else? 5 guys in double figures. Got to be pleased with that.
Yeah, that's probably one of the most balanced scoring efforts they've had all year.
In a long time, yeah. It is.
If you would have told me coming into this game, IU would out-rebound them 44-29 and have 14 offensive rebounds, Northwestern's 5, I would have said I think we'd be sitting in pretty good shape there. That's the thing. Statistically, really the only 2 categories Northwestern had a significant advantage on were turnovers and three-point shooting.
All right.
Really, statistically, there's nothing that gives this game away to Northwestern outside of this.
Yeah.
Mike, Cole, both of you. This is a second subpar shooting game. We were a 50% shooting team up until about 3 games ago. Now we're at 38% again. This is the second time now, or maybe the third time.
How about this on this? We've talked about how teams are sagging back in the paint. I think up until the last 4 or 5 games, what you were getting is you were getting penetration, you were getting kick, and you were getting open looks. Now they back off.
Right.
They're setting up. You got to think a little bit more when you shoot the ball like that too. And the more you think, the worse off it is. But I think what it is when they sag in, you don't get any flow to the three-point shot, if you know what I mean. Where if you're driving, Juwan Morgan's kicking it out, that's one thing. But I just think the offense, because of the defenses they've faced, have become too stagnant.
Cole, do you have the ability to pull up real quick, Cole, what our seasonal shooting percentage is now? Because we were over 50% 3 games ago as a team. Can you pull that up real quick? You have the box score I have on ESPN doesn't have that ability. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if IU's posted their box score yet or not. They're notoriously slow for posting their own box score. I'll look at it real quick here too. Hang on. Indiana men's basketball. They generally don't post it real quickly.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I can look that up here really quick.
Northwestern box score. Here's the Northwestern.
Okay. If you go to ESPN, if you're on the ESPN page, it'll show you the entire schedule. You just click on the game. I would go to Maryland because we know they've shot less than 50% the last 3 games.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm guessing they did against Michigan too. Maryland, they may have shot over 50%.
Well, they were under 50% at Maryland. They were like 45% at Maryland. But
45% is winnable. I mean, if you shoot that, you're usually going to win.
Right.
And when I look at it, once again, though, I think it's just the fact that you're playing more physical teams, and this team is soft. In the end, that's the problem. When you get to the Big Ten, you're going to get, and you know this, you played in it, Steve, every game's a bloodbath, and this team's not cut out for that. We saw it in the regular season even.
Yeah, so Steve, the season average for them from the field is 50.5% right now.
And so we're still at
50%.
Okay.
So, but that's before tonight's game.
Okay, 49.6.
They're going to drop below 50%.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you would have told me, guess IU's record, if they're shooting 49% of the field 19 games into the season, I'm probably going to say 16-3. 17
and they're not riding a 5-game losing streak.
No.
Yeah, no. And they face Michigan, and then where do they go from there? They've got.
Well, if you give me a second, they play Michigan at home Friday night.
No, I got it right here.
They play Rutgers at Rutgers on Wednesday, and then the next Saturday at Michigan State. I think you're at the point now. They need this Michigan game.
You could lose all 3 of these.
Game. Yeah, they could very easily at least lose 2 out of 3. And then you've still got Iowa and Ohio State. I know they're at home, but Iowa and Ohio State are not pushovers. And then you go to Minnesota, and if you saw them,
Iowa's definitely not a pushover. Yeah.
Well, I don't think Minnesota's a
pushover. Minnesota almost beat Michigan tonight. Yeah, Minnesota almost beat Michigan tonight.
Well, and the thing you got to
remember
the other thing you got to remember is this: almost every one of these teams they're playing, except for the last 2 games against Illinois and Rutgers, the Iowas, the Wisconsins, the Minnesota, Ohio State. These are teams that are all going to be fighting for their lives to get into the tournament against Indiana, because
exactly.
I think in the end, the way this will play out is you'll get 7, maybe 8 teams in. You're not going to get the 10 people talk about. So these games are even going to be even more highly pressurized, which makes me worry even more about the way Indiana shoots the ball and about the way they react to the physicality of other teams.
Yeah. So let's shift gears just a little bit, guys. What do we got to do to fix this boat? I mean, how do we plug these leaks? What do we need to do?
It's going to be tough. First they're going to have to shoot the ball better. I mean, they're going to have to find a way to get some confidence in the ball. That's got to be step one. I mean, you're not going to beat many teams shooting 4 of 20 from 3. I mean, that's just not going to be a recipe for success. And if they can do that, if they can shoot the ball well, they can force teams to open up a little bit. And Indiana has a lot of guys that can score around the rim. I mean, they have guys that can get up there and finish, but it's just about getting some room to operate down there. Defensively, I still think a lot of times if you look at the box score at the end of the game, the 3-point percentage will look, like we had a solid game, but I still feel like we just fall asleep at key moments, and it seems like teams hit big threes on us. At key moments they get, either we have momentum and, they just hit a back-breaking 3. And I don't know how to fix that other than just you got to focus. I mean, it's just, you've got to lock in. And, I think that comes back to what we've talked about during this 5-game losing streak. There's just been a lack of focus at times. A lack of intensity on the team. And they were better in this game, but there were still stretches where they, fell asleep defensively. So they've got to figure out a way to stay engaged in that end.
We seem to be a very reactionary team, not a very proactive team whatsoever. We're very reactionary. And if you're reacting, you're always a step behind everything. If you're just reacting to everything, you're always going to be a step behind. That's why defensive backs can't guard good receivers. in the NFL because they're always reacting to what the receivers are doing. Rarely do you get a defensive back who's a proactive defensive back who can get away with pass interference and a helmet-to-helmet hit and win his team into the Super Bowl. That doesn't happen very often.
Did you make yourself laugh, Steve?
I made myself laugh.
Okay.
Mike, anything you see as team? I mean, you agree with Cole or anything else different you see?
What I would do is this. I would start Clifton Moore over Zach McRoberts. And
yeah,
I would start Anderson over Langford and tell him he's not coming in until the first dead ball TV timeout. And I would tell him
that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, but it's what should happen because
Miller doesn't have the balls to do that.
Something needs to be shaken up here. And I would tell Anderson every time you get it, if you want to shoot it. But you're coming out at 15 minutes for Romeo. And if he's hot,
or somebody's coming out,
and if he's hot, he hits a couple shots or he makes one shot. But I would start Clifton Moore over Zach McRoberts. I don't know what the love affair is with him because when you look at his line, he played longer than Moore, a lot longer than Moore. Moore out-rebounded him 2-1.
Yeah, 19 minutes worth. Yeah, he got 19 minutes worth.
Yeah, and Moore in like 2 minutes had 2 rebounds. McRoberts had 1. Now McRoberts had 3 assists. But you also got Moore had a big block shot, which kind of changed a little momentum a bit.
Our subs got a combined 13 minutes in the game.
Yeah.
6 for Fissner, 3 for Anderson, 2 for Forrester, 2 for Moore, and Durham got 33. Okay, so Durham played a lot.
Durham was basically
he played more than McRoberts actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was basically a starter. Yeah.
I just
my only thing I could say is that I would somehow challenge this team either in practice or they don't have a game again now till Friday, so you've got a couple days to rough things up a little bit. I'd find somebody to make this team a little meaner than it is. I mean, it worked for us, and I get it's very unfair to make comparisons of Knight to Archie Miller or to Tom Crean or Tom Crean to to Archie Miller. Those comparisons are not really fair, but I know it worked, and I know in college basketball, physicality and intensity and getting up in somebody's grill intimidates people because not a lot of teams play that way anymore. And this team, I would just spend the next 2 days just somehow igniting a fire into these guys' butts just to go out and just knock somebody on their tail. Have we even come close to a flagrant foul all season long?
No.
Have we? I don't know that we have. I don't know. Cole, have we even come? Have we had a flagrant foul all season long?
Not that I can remember here.
Not that I can think of.
And to tell you how soft basketball is today, I don't think we played in a game where there was a flagrant foul committed against us either.
I mean, I'm not trying to harp on myself so much, but I know that when I got to guard guys like Greg Kelser and Maggie Johnson and Clark Kellogg, the first thing I did was foul them as hard as I could. I know I'm going to play the whole game, so it's like I'm going to waste one here right now and just let you know I'm here, and I'm going to bang on you all night long. As long as I'm in the game, you're going to get banged on. And, you're not going to get anything free, cheap, and easy on me. And it's not about me. It's about how you set the tone of the game. Any player, Kitchell was the same way. Whitman was the same way. Anybody that came in our Tolbert would just, if Tolbert was going to block your shot, he was going to take you down with the shot. We all knew we could waste one. And I just don't see it in this team at all. They just play soft as hell. They're not aggressive. I don't know. I mean, this team is not going in the right direction at all. It's a good bunch of kids, but we've talked about good bunch of kids for the last 20 years of IU basketball. They're always a good bunch of kids.
We don't need a good bunch of kids to win. We need kids like Risley.
No. Well, we need kids that have see, I don't want to make it about. I'm not trying to compare me to them.
No, I was actually making fun of you there, Steve. But okay.
Yeah,
because they were good kids.
It's the mentality in which you play the game. You've got to go out there and establish your territory, establish your turf, set your boundaries, and say, this is how we're going to do this. Instead, we're getting dictated how things are going to be done to us. And it just continues to get more and more dictated to us as we roll deeper into the Big Ten season, to the point to where we're going to be. Right now, we have no margin of error. I didn't think we had a margin of error before tonight. We can't afford to lose another game that we shouldn't lose. Tonight, we lost a game we shouldn't have lost. Michigan, you can throw that away. I mean, we're probably not going to win that game. We might. I mean, if we do, it's a plus. We pick one up on everybody.
Well,
we
the good
get
thing
that
is
game.
Michigan has not played well the last week.
No, they're not playing well right now. So maybe they're right, but I don't know that we're not playing well.
Yeah,
we came out and we hammered Northwestern.
But our only hope is to play against a team that
and
plays worse than us.
And hope is not an option here, fellas. Hope is not an option in the dance.
Well, the scary thing is this. They played poorly the last two games, and I bet John Beeline's not real happy with it. So I think Indiana's going to get the best version of Michigan there is, and they better come out and they better start off good.
Well, they better come out I mean, the only chance is to be very aggressive, very attack-oriented, very up in your grill, and do something early to take Michigan out of their game early and not wait until they settle in and build themselves a comfortable lead. Then it's okay to take a team out of their – it doesn't affect a team when you take them out of their game a little bit then. I thought the other thing tonight, too, is we let Northwestern dictate and control the tempo of this game. I thought we were playing the game way too fast. And that's when we started taking a lot of bad shots and going to the hole haphazardly and not really going under control. I made a comment on that, too, on my notes that I was taking during the game.
You know what I think? I think that I don't think the game was out of control until the kids started hitting the threes. Once he started hitting the threes, it seemed like as a team, Indiana panicked.
Right, yeah.
Well,
exactly.
That's
thing, exactly right.
And another thing, and it kind of goes back, I think Steve mentioned it earlier, especially with Falzone going off from three. And talking about teams, setting the tone. Defensively, we don't really pressure teams either. No. I feel like on the perimeter, we let teams, get into whatever set they want. We don't really try to resist it at all. And especially a guy like Falzone on the perimeter, I mean, there's no pressure on him. I mean, he's moving open look after open look out there. I mean, I think if you want to set the tone, I mean, that's one of the areas you need to look at. Let's get into some guys in the perimeter. Let's pressure them. Let's make them feel uncomfortable out there.
And the thing that doesn't make any sense to me is this. We're playing with three guards. I mean, most teams with three guards will pressure the hell out of you on the perimeter because they only got two big men.
Have we pressed anybody this year at all?
No.
Guys?
Not last year either, I don't think.
We have not played defense above half-court line at all. I can't think of anybody that we put pressure on above the half-court line.
I think we threw a full-court press, I think. But I think it was actually during our run when we got it down to three, when we got some energy. I think there was a little bit of a semi-full-court press there.
Yeah, I think it was more like three-quarters, wasn't it? And then at the end of the game, they had to. But the thing about it was this. At the end of the game, when they had to, if they would have just been there to deny the ball, I think they would have had a lot of luck with that because it looked like Northwestern was having difficulties with it. We saw the one kid call a timeout before he ever had to. I think there's a lot to be said for occasionally full-court pressing a team just to make them uncomfortable. Because the way to be a great defensive team, no matter what sport it is to make the other team uncomfortable, make them do something they're not used to having to do. And you don't see a lot of four-court press in the NCAA or in any kind of basketball anymore. And the key to playing defense is making the other team uncomfortable and making them do what they don't want to do. And it seems like with Indiana just plays the defense they play. And whatever you want to do, you do, and we're going to, as Steve said, react to it.
Yeah, I'm not unimpressed with Archie Miller, but I'm fairly disappointed in his defensive efforts so far this year. And I keep hearing people talk about, well, the defense looked good here. Look, I mean, I don't know what they're. I played for a defensive genius. I mean, Indiana won games with their defensive prowess when I played. And we pummeled teams defensively. And our offense just came to us because we wore teams down defensively so bad, they couldn't guard us offensively because we just kept running motion at them. Just simple motion. pick and roll.
You know the
But
thing
we
I've
wore 'em
noticed
down by
that really stood out to me, and I'm going to let you address this, Steve, because you were a part of it. When I watched Minnesota and Michigan play tonight, I saw two big physical teams that were recruited by their coaches. I don't see, when you look at Indiana, they don't look like a Big Ten team physically.
No, they don't at all. I mean, I don't know what to do with Pfister. I mean,
He made a shot. I mean, that's... By the, hey,
you know,
and the way this is
feels...
playing out, by the Big Ten tournament, he's going to make another one.
Well, you know, the thing is, this team needs Pfister. They need Pfister to be big and physical and strong.
Yeah, but he's
they don't need a 6'10". I know, but there's got to be some kind of fabrication you can do to him, or getting a mindset change with him to get him to be a little more aggressive and
how about this?
Physical and play.
I would like to bring up
the
same name I brought up before, Clifton Moore. He's 6'10", 230 pounds, and he is a much better player than Fitzner, and he looks like a Big Ten player when he's in the game.
Yeah. Well, you almost got to start him next game and just let him go. And I mean, crap, we're losing anyway. It goes back to my old sayings. Definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And right now, we're insane. We're totally insane.
Yeah. But if
we
were totally insane, though, we'd be a really good defensive team.
Well, if insanity was aggressive and not passive, yeah. Right now, we're insanely passive. We're not insanely aggressive.
I didn't know you could be insanely passive.
Well, we're finding ways to do it right now.
Maybe Devontae Green,
no, but
hopefully not the rest of the team.
Yeah, but I'd agree with you guys. I would give Clifton more a chance. I mean, just you've got to give him, 2 minutes of action tonight. I mean, he's got to play more.
You got to do something different. You got to play him more.
I mean, he comes in. He makes plays. I feel like every time he comes in, he had that big block tonight. 2 rebounds in 2 minutes. Yeah, just give him some run. Let's see what he can do. If he fails, he fails. But let him loose. Let's see what he can do here.
By doing this, this is what Knight used to do all the time. Just by starting him over somebody else, that somebody else all of a sudden
pisses somebody else off.
Yeah,
and then they play harder.
Right. I hated it when I didn't start, or I started 37 of my 120 games. So I didn't start, but maybe a third of them. But I didn't like to go to the bench first. I mean, I relished the times when I could get on the court, start on the court, and when I wasn't the first player called into the game, it just royally pissed me off, and it made me want to just go punk somebody as soon as I got in. Because I'm mad. I'm pissed that I wasn't the first player. Yeah, he said, "Thomas, get in." I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, he's a sophomore and I'm a senior. You're putting him in over me?
He could run and jump, though, in Knight's defense.
Yeah, he was more talented than me. I get it. And there's no doubt. No, but it doesn't affect my psyche. My psyche was, I'm going to make somebody pay for me not being the first person in the game. So I'm going to let him know on the court, hey, put me in. I'm going to change something. It may be the foul totals, but I'm going to change something.
It don't matter.
The other thing is the second game I'm going to bring this up again. I'm extremely disappointed in our assistant coaches. I've never seen a more passive group of assistant coaches.
I didn't think we had assistant
coaches. I don't know that we did. Yeah, when I was playing, all the assistants were standing up, and they weren't coaching the game. Knight coached the game. The assistant coaches coached the players. And they were in the grills of the players telling them, Risley, you're out of position. Risley, you're out of position. Risley, get on the boards. Crash. And you were hearing it the whole time. And it was annoying to you. It was making you mad. And it's like, I'm going to do it just to shut him up. I'm tired of hearing Royce Waltman telling me to get my ass on the boards. But there were always assistant coaches, and that's the way Knight designed it, was he had assistants coaching players during the game, not the game itself. Knight bench coached the game, but his coaches bench coached the players. And that's what kept players in the game. That's what kept them active. That's what kept them in people's grills. That's what kept them aggressive on the boards. You sometimes you just got to beat it into somebody's head constantly. There's a lot of shit going on in the game. You get a lot of distractions there. You get out of position, you get beat. You're not as quick as the guy you're guarding. you got coaches reaming your butt the whole time. You just kind of get fed up with it and say, okay, I'm tired of this. I'm just going to get him off my ass. I'm going to go bust my butt and do what he wants to do. Just say, shut up on me.
Hey, there you go.
So I don't see any of that at all.
We got to wrap the show up. Your dog barked. That means he's got to go potty.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're done. All right, I have nothing else to add. I mean, it's a disappointing. It's probably a hugely disappointing loss because this is a game we absolutely had to have, and we didn't get it done.
Well, they get a chance to make amends, I guess. Friday
night.
Make
one up. They've got to make it up.
Wolverines.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, that win doesn't get us anywhere except back to even. If we get that win, we get the win, we were hoping.
But Steve, that win is a win over a top 5 team, and that helps come March.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a quality win for tournament time for sure.
Yeah, it's a quality win.
For the team. You know, if this
but
team
wasted. It's half wasted on the loss tonight.
Yeah, but if this team ends up 18-13 or 19-12, that win puts them in. Probably.
And matters a great deal, right?
Yeah,
I agree. Okay,
all right, guys,
we're
going to wrap it up. I want to thank Cole and Steve as always. You can find Steve Risley at
Risley on Friday post game.
Cole?
Yeah,
Do you have a Twitter yet?
Twitter page yet?
I did actually at ColeHannah5. You can go ahead and follow me.
What was that?
I got on that. We're at ColeHannah5 is what it is. HANNA.
I'm going to follow you right now.
Give me a follow. Still working on up the page, but I do have a page right now. So. At ColeHannah5, it's ColeHanna 5.
All right, and if you want to ask any questions for the next show, you
can. Wait, I got Cole Hannah. I got Cole Hannah 22. I got Cole Hannah 19. Cole Hannah 95. Hannah Cole 97.
Cole Hannah.
I got Hannah HHH, which is Cole Hannah 05. Is that you?
It's at ColeHannah 5. So at ColeHannah 5.
Is there a space there?
Nah. So it's just one.
I got it right there.
One big word.
There. I am now your second follower.
There we go.
You're following 6 people, and I'm your second follower.
Page. Yeah.
Get some pictures up. Put a picture of your mom up, please.
Why would he put a picture of his mom up?
Because she'll be on his Twitter page left and right. That's why.
It's kind of creepy, though.
Don't give her your password, Cole.
Yeah. I won't make that mistake, but...
Okay. It says here that Cole Hannah hasn't tweeted yet. I am now his third follower.
There you go. Yeah. So everybody jump on to Cole Hannah 5. You'll get his posts. His posts will start popping up there. Cole, you start putting your posts on that page on your own now, too. And I'm following you, so everything I post will come to your page. Retweet it whenever you can, and just get it out there in the universe.
All right, Cole.
Yeah, we'll do.
Log on. Make sure you follow Galen because he's got a wide universe. If you follow him, everything you send out will go to him, and it'll get retweeted out.
Yeah, I'll be sure to do that.
All right, guys, I want to remind you, you can hear me and Steve every Monday through Friday at noon, and we start our week and a half of Super Bowl coverage tomorrow.
Super Bowl coverage.
And we've got tomorrow's guest will be Jack Squirick, who was one of the heroes of the Super Bowl 18 Raiders win over the Redskins. Friday, we've got Levon Kirkland, legendary NFL linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He'll be here to talk Super Bowl 30. Next Monday, we'll have Don Horn, who was the backup quarterback to Bart Starr, Super Bowl II. He'll be here to tell us stories about Super Bowl II and about what it was like to play for the legendary Vince Lombardi. Next Friday, we have Pittsburgh Steeler legend, Notre Dame legend, Rocky Bleier, who will be on the show for about a half hour, 40 minutes, to talk about the 4 Super Bowls he played in and won with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So make sure you check us out. We'll be adding more guests to that list to fill in the days that are empty. So make sure you follow us at The Grueling Truth on Twitter or go to our Facebook page, The Grueling Truth. I want to remind everybody you can hear all of our shows on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, wherever you find sports podcasts, you'll find The Grueling Truth. So for Cole Hannah, Steve Risley, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.